Rozo Gunla Uje Daze Yanla Juje Yande Zon Dudra Jeju Nyemo Nyin Leje Charo Roze Jen Pare Menzen Dunga Nyugo Jinye Jenze Rade Bene Dajin Saje Dazen Yendem Lezo Jaze Dove Go Chada Chada Chunyin jende dale menze jambe online de mara padana 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 de Umara Bazana 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 de Umara Umara Bazana de 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 Zeden Jeje Cheno Zeren Dalen de Mon Bayra Kadon Denje Jolo Dobai Loje Bobe No Konje Jengore Nanjingore Jandren Janda Kaden Zonda Majeba Palo Jinji Jinja Beja Jindu Jima Meba Languera Dundu Dengo Lungu Bachin Bengo Nenchanza Jinja Zajo Chiwane Zera Tunjedo Tujinja Zimbre Zendo Kongi Jazando Yemi Kongi Zimbe Nondash Simbeze Zindu Barvendo Gunmi Gendu Zijuru Tujidama Bune Jurin Jiden Sumji Konjabe Tuambe Mogarbe Jabendrin Dale Indrajon Jinzorin Bemin Dombo Zeren Jave Nandu Ranjan Jedu Zenzo Bije Denchon Barve Pemanjo Nendale Indrajon Gumbulu Dwarian Devadan Tume Nyen Cholon Jijenda Chujoy Jaman Yembawazo Zamlin Jenjuan Jenda Ejon Kongre Devaran Jenyu Bengulo Yendengun Jonga Vishasabdo Nimbe Zembe Benanjarba Chime Vezresha Jenda Ejon Ridon Jumba Junu Jinale Gombelon Le Fubete Jedo Lujan Janzen Wanjur Mibam Jambi Anjenda Ejon Kongre Dala Ribalo Badan Dojiten Jemimano Aso Nobazada Ungurashin Labe Mujit Jela Menda Ejon Namonguru Chinim Mendaji Shizala Kunjaran Joduji Chimbejin Duji Kalaga Mentanawa Padem Lami Jajin Daejon Yende Sanji Kanyan Naya Kadin Sanji Kunden Tabigun Zari Lami Shala Soande Tozundu Lamna Chela Sonda Juju Dongi Jidena Deshela Marjurba Konsuda Tinda Bichin Chabende Sember Deva Dada Shishi Namoya Tambal Haigedanu Dani Jingi and Hunda Megananda Dua Banjidanam Jizambara Tamje Gedo Susuru Tuju Manjanangita Tanyam Bezinjin Hamje Namdo Tenyi Deva Lanami Bayanda Bazo Bisonjin Buhan Bujela Chine Jangabrasha Chedu Teba Jimbi Shunlu Gazechimbo Shivala Deniji Zebi Chanjusim Jubalan Juba Denit Sushim Busene Nyamsulawa Jo Sambajan Juju Jabatan Jedis house. So that as I always kind of like a reminding that how it is important to generate this intent when we are engaging into any kind of meritorious activity. So similar in this way. So here also we are begin to do some meritorious activity of Dharma teaching and listening. So before that, it is also very beneficial if we are able to generate this awakened mind before we begin. So therefore, recommending both you and myself to, how to say, generate this awakened mind in this way, that start from one's dearest and then try to look each and every one equal to your dearest one, and then to really support and help and give them some kind back or give them something that they unmistaken stages of happiness. So we need to, for that purpose, that I'm going to listen this the Mahayana scripture that which is composed by Shantideva, the way of Bodhisattva's life, and then whatsoever I understand, I will definitely going to try my best to put into practice for the sake of all the sentient beings, they ultimately achieve enlightenment, and for temporarily lead them to stages of some sort of like free them from suffer and lead them to stages of happiness. And the generating awareness or the awakened mind in this way is the way to generating bodhicitta. And then top of that, and then while the Dharma listening Dharma teachings, and the conduct or the manner should try to make it in this way. So listen carefully in an excellent way, then try to hold it. So with these two preparation, that intention and the physical manner, or how to say, the manner and the intention. And then the actual teaching here itself, that way of Bodhisattva's life, that which contains 10 chapters with the 4 main themes. And among the 4 main themes, the first we completed, which is guiding us how to receive this Bodhisattva's vow within oneself. And then the second theme is that after we receive this vow, and then in order not to transgress or in order not to lose this bodhicitta from within oneself, and what we should prepare and what we should train, how to train oneself. And then to prepare, then we need to have this sense of carefulness, and then the mindfulness and introspection and the patience. So these are the 3 things that we should prepare within oneself in order not to transgress and not to lose this bodhicitta. And then how to train oneself to have all those sense of carefulness and the mindfulness and introspection. Then patience. Then these are each chapters, 4, 5, 6. It's all skills that Shantideva was
showing us how to gain that sense of carefulness and how to gain that sense the mindfulness and introspections and the patience. But here today that Shandadeva, this second one that Shandadeva is instructing us how to gain this mindfulness and introspection. And also that so far now Shandadeva already shown this skills or the method that how one should gain this introspection, mindfulness and introspection. And based on this three things, the sense of carefulness and the mindfulness and introspection, and then how one should engage in order not to transgress and in order not to lose. And then the, how to say, that Shandadeva was showing all those, the, what you call precepts, and then all those three stages of disciplines. Among these three stages of discipline, that first, the discipline of refraining misdoing, and then the discipline of gathering virtue, and then the discipline of benefiting beings. So these are the things after we prepared oneself, this sense of carefulness and then the mindfulness and introspection, that we should try to engage into this training or the practices. And then these three training or the practices is also that he is kind of like guiding us in an order that first we need to train ourselves to practice this discipline of refraining misdoing things. And then once you, what you call got little familiar with it, then next step is to develop or to process your practice or training. Then try to engage into this second stage of discipline, which is the discipline of gathering virtues. And then once you got familiar with this training, with this practice, then further that third steps that which you should try to engage into this third stage of discipline, which is the discipline of benefiting beings. So the so far now that we completed, how to say, this first two training, and then now we are here in this third training, which is the benefiting of beings, benefiting the discipline of benefiting beings. So the discipline of benefiting beings within that, and then he also showed many different skills, such as that he shown us that even from the very tiny, small, minor's conduct, which really needed to in order to reach to others, in order to be able to support others. And then those many different skills he shown. And then now from here, then he also showing another method or the skills that which is also very much necessary to benefit others. So therefore, these are the kind of like some another branches skills that which is very much needed that in order to benefit others. And then the such as that the first method that he's showing that the even though the bodhisattvas, their way of benefiting others is unlimited, unbounded, but yet still that it is very important and sudden that you must train your mind first. That is kind of like a necessity, that in order to benefit others, it is very important to train one's mind. And then likewise, also that another skills is that he's suggesting to read this 35 Buddha's compassion, that you confessed all the your mistake, that whatever you are doing, that confessing is the also that another skills that if you really want to benefit others, then you may train and practice yourself into this confessed as well. And then likewise, the what you call a third skills that which is shown is to try the what you call a, even though it is for your purpose or for the others' beneficial purpose, whatsoever, regardless, try to be within its precepts. Try not to oppose or try not to against its precepts. So based on staying oneself within the precepts and then try to do it that whatsoever it is beneficial accordance with its situations, but make sure that never possessing or against the precepts. Then if anyone how to say if anyone that who wants to practice this Mahayana path, as long as they stay with its precepts and then based on its what no matter whatever they do, that all their activity or actions could become meritorious activities. There's not such a one thing it can becomes the kind of like a what you call useless or demerit or non-virtuous. And that is the third skill. And then that is also that the which we already discussed. This is stanza number 99 and 100. This two stanza that talks about this. And this is also like that what you call as the Guru Padmasambhava also said this. This is in a one way it is really showing the potential or the power of the vow, the Bodhisattva's vow. As long as you didn't transgress your Bodhisattva's vow, then no matter whatever you do, and then it might, how to say, that could becomes these virtuous actions, that it never becomes like a meaningless. And this is what it means. Samjin, that's something that we need to understand. Even that when Guru Rinpoche talked about the benefit of this refuge vow, and then he said this one, if we take this very literally or not understand properly what he really means, then maybe we might take misunderstand. Same like a misunderstand in emptiness teaching too. So the Guru Rinpoche said when he described the benefit or the potential of refuge vow, and he said that, okay, so since you have this refuge vow, and then I say from on, whatever you do, it all becomes meritorious activity. So you see, that is also very kind of like if we don't understand this, why what he's saying is properly, he is clearly saying that as long as you have refuge vow, based on it, don't oppose your refuge precepts, don't against refuge precepts, and maintain your refuge vow. Then, no matter whatever you do, eat, go, work, sleep, drink, and then talk, and then all those neutral chores, absolutely. And even outlook something very negative, but it is not really negative, because you aware that what you are doing, and you aware yourself that I'm not opposing this refuge vow, I'm not against this refuge vow, I'm not crossing the boundary of this refuge rules. So you aware that, And then regardless whether what other people see or not, whether what other people say or not, they merit or demerit, it is not really can judge by others peoples, or just saying, or the kind of like a seeing or saying does not make this virtuous action and non-virtuous actions. And what we doing action, it becomes virtuous or non-virtuous based on what you have intentions behind it and how you are acting it. And that's the really source, or that's the really cause, that whether that our action makes the virtuous or non-virtuous or not. So it is just like that. So therefore, this Guru Rinpoche, he also saying this when he described about this, the value of this refuge vow. And he said this exactly, that as long as you keep this refuge vow, and then no matter whatever you do, all could becomes the virtuous, meritorious activity. And similar here, again, Shantideva also saying this here, that within these two stanza number 99 and stanza number 100, that regardless whether you're doing this for yourself or for others, whatever you are doing, if you be with those bodhisattvas training and not oppose those bodhisattvas vow, how to say, that you must put yourself effort to be with it. And then from based on this, if oneself stay based on this, then there's nothing that bodhisattvas will not going to do it. There's nothing bodhisattvas not going to train it. There's nothing bodhisattvas will not going to practice it or try it. And then based on it, whatever they're doing, there's nothing actions that which is not becomes the meritorious actions as well. So there's the same meaning, and that we shouldn't misunderstand. It is talking about the based on you have this bodhisattva's vow, then whatever you do, it becomes like this way. And then, as I also said like this, also this in a similar way, and some people take misunderstand of this emptiness teachings as well. And then they're saying, okay, since it is everything is emptiness, now I don't need to care. I will do whatever I want. So because this is emptiness, why I should try, why I should practice, why I should recite mantra, why I should prostrate, why I should offer, why I should, and then so on. All this is just like that not understanding the meaning of emptiness, or not understanding the kind of like the lacking of understanding emptiness, and could become mislead. And these are very similar. That if we just say, oh, what Guru Rinpoche say, or as long as you have refuge vow, whatever you do, it becomes matter. Okay, so now I receive refuge vow, and I have this refuge vow from my teacher. Okay, so now I'm allowed to do whatever I want. Still, it is all becomes virtuous. And for the emptiness, I will tell you this very funny thing here. Some people saying that, okay, since everything is emptiness, now I don't have to care. I will do whatever I want. You see? Did you see the funny in there? Funny is just there. He or she very easily saying that since everything is emptiness, but still he or she not thinking he or she herself is emptiness. So there's in a mouth word it is saying everything is emptiness. Okay, now I will do whatever I want. I is not empty. Still, my wish is not empty. other than myself and other than my wish, everything is empty. So now I will do whatever I want. So that's not everything emptiness. It is not including yourself and your wish. It is not including myself and my wish. Myself and my wish is also one of the everything actually. So this is this kind of funny mistake you could make from those misunderstanding of these teachings. And similar here, this is also saying this Shantideva. So to benefit others, also it is very important to try to restrain. Is it restrain? Maintain or restrain, right? Restrain or maintain? Different?
Yeah, restraint is different.
Restrain is?
Yeah, restraint is try to
leave it there. Or don't try to maintain.
Restrain means to pull back.
Pull back. Okay.
Maintain
Maintain.
means to stay constant.
Okay, maintain maybe is better actually. So the maintain this vow, and then whatever we do, it could become meritorious activity. Without maintaining this vow, and this you cannot use these two stanzas, saying that, oh, I received Bodhisattva and I received Bodhisattva's vow, so now whatever I do, all becomes meritorious. You can't say that. So this is another skills or the method that he shown. And then the next 101 stanza, the dedications that he, recommending us to dedicate for the sake of others, only for the others. All the merit, whatever we accumulated, we should dedicate for the enlightenment. And dedicating in this way is also his thinking that one way, one method to benefit others. So how it is related? That what I think is that it is also very helpful to not to forget our main goal. Say, sometimes, okay, then if we say, if we don't have this goal and this aim, and then when I help somebody and when I free someone from their trouble, then I may think, okay, now I've done, I benefited him or her. So I benefited him or her. Okay, then him or her is done. Okay, now who's next? Who's next? So that is not like that. So when you put this goal, okay, I will lead each and every individual to a stage of enlightenment, then it is constantly also help us that you are benefiting others. It's not completing until each and everybody is reached to enlightenment. See, that also help us in this way. This is what I think that why, and then Shantideva, I think why Shantideva, showing this dedication is the one skill for us to maintain, why he is using this dedication as a skill to benefit others. That through this way, I think this is also one way. And I'm not saying this is the only way. This is also one way. It makes sense that when we don't forget to lead them to enlightenment, and then we are not going to give up by providing or helping or supporting some things that, some problems that which I helped to solve that his problem, then I think that, okay, now I already benefited, now this is finished to benefiting him or her. So that dedicating in this enlightenment always remind us that, oh, for me to benefit others is to until how to say they reached enlightenment. Until that, this is my responsibility to help and support others. So, which means it becomes skills to maintain this willing to helping others. It is becomes skills to idea to benefiting others when we dedicate it in this way. If we just dedicated our merit, okay, so may let's say if someone sick, ill, then I'm dedicating merit for him or her to cure that disease and then get well, get back to normal. And then if I only aim that, goal that, then one day that ill person recovered and get back to normal, then my support is finished. I stopped my support there. This is happening actually. Even let's say that we are sponsoring the kids for the schools somewhere other countries. We pick up, right? We pick up through our friend. We pick up through whatsoever advertisement in the television we saw. That's why we picked up this kid. Let's say in some other countries. For example, let's say in the United States, there's one poor family. Then I choose it that this one kid that I will support to that kid to finish his education. So see, my dedication is already set up. My dedication is this is my goal. And then I will support that child, kid, whosoever, and sending all the financial support or material things support whatsoever needed for him to educate himself and get the educations from this whatsoever we call like schools educations. And if I made it like this education support, then I keep supporting him, and then he keep growing, passing 1 year, another year, second year, third year, fourth year, and then high school finish, then join to the college or university, 5 years finish. After this 12 plus 5, let's say 5 the most, right? 17 years. Then I will going to stop supporting that child, isn't it? Because my dedication for him is until here. Finish. If I put my dedication for him until he survives, then it will not going to end up when he finish university. It still keep going supporting him until he die, right? Until he die. And then now, if I put my aim until he liberate from this cyclic existence, then even further. So you see, what I'm trying to say is that it is help us to keep that in my mind that I need to support him. That goal, how I set up the goal. It helps us to keep that mind that I need to support. If I set from the beginning, I will support him until he completes his education, then 17 years. After 17 years, this willing to support him is disappear. It's fate. It will going to disappear. Because from the beginning, I only set up this mind until I support him to complete his education. So that's how it helps. That's how it needed that goal, the putting the destiny or the goal to benefit others as well. So likewise here, when we set up our mind, okay, that I will going to help him or her until they achieve enlightenment. Then it will going to be very far. Actually, yes, it is very far, destiny. But the point is that here, that willing to support and help, it will never going to fade in my life. It will never going to fade and disappear in my mind until I die. That's for sure, right? And then once they achieve enlightenment, then you disappearing that, it's okay. That's no problem. Then you don't need to make this wish for him. And then he or she may need to make wish for me now, back. Okay, now he or she's turn to make this, set up this dedication and aim to me to achieve enlightenment and support back, right? And that's also remind me one thing that normally I talk that the what do you call it, this object of bodhisattvas to generate compassion, that we shouldn't forget this too. That when we don't understand the object of bodhisattvas to generate compassion properly, then our this compassion becomes biased. Our this loving kindness becomes biased. And then limit. And that limit and biased, even sometimes we will not be able to notice ourselves. Because from the beginning, we don't know, we don't understand properly the object. Who are the object to generate compassion and bodhicitta from bodhisattvas? That's why, how to say, some people have this confusion. Yes, that is absolutely happening. It is, to me, I have that confusion too before. Then I also thinking sometimes that when I see someone who are very healthy, very wealthy, who have everything, he don't need my compassion. He don't need my loving kindness. He don't need my bodhicitta, or she don't need. I thought that too before. This is now exactly that I'm not understanding. I'm lacking of understanding the object of compassion from the Bodhisattva's point of view. So from the Bodhisattva's point of view is that, therefore, it is kind of like we need to understand that the other beings, whoever kind of like controlled or controlled by karma and controlled by afflicted emotion. And these are the two main things. That's the object to generate compassion. And that's regardless now. If you put that as the object, then it is also very regardless color, very regardless the races. Races will be not going to be there. And that we should train to kind of like generate compassion and loving kindness and bodhicitta to the others. And as long as whoever controlled by these two things, and may they liberate from these two things. May they enlightened from these two darkness. And then whoever, even rich, even wealthy, even who have everything, we can a little bit understand whether that person is controlled by this, under this two or not, through his way of talking, the behave, and then way of thinking. That we can understand a little bit, right? Not 100%, but a little bit we can predict. And whether that person is object of your compassion or not, this is it. If that person is even very poor, he or she doesn't have anything, but as long as he or she free from this too, not your object of compassion. You may become his object of compassion. Not he or she is your object of compassion. So this way. So that is, I just said it, side topic, okay? Anyway, this is just side topic since that I just raised this side topic because of this now, the dedication, from this dedication, right? When you set the dedication in very like enlightenment, then you are setting your mind to help others to lead them to very high stage, which is in a one way, this is also many people talking like, oh, this is something very impossible, EM. Actually, it is not impossible, EM, for sure. But I agree, it is very far, EM. Yeah, that's definitely, that is very obvious. I agree. If we say impossible, then maybe not really agree. It is not really impossible. But still, that aiming and putting that as the destiny, on the other hand, it definitely helps to maintain this you're willing to support others. Maintain this willing to benefit others. That really does when you put that in. When you keep that, set that in. I will benefit and help them until they liberate, until they enlighten. Which means now that, okay, as long as I see them, they are undercovered by this true darkness, I will still try my best to help. That helps, this setting your aim, dedicating in this way. So, and also here, Shantideva is also showing this. Dedicating for the others, dedicating for the others to achieve enlightenment is the one skills to benefit others. He's showing this dedication skills in the part of benefiting others, right? That we are talking this the discipline of benefiting beings. So the practice discipline of benefiting beings and this dedicating in this way is also very necessary. Why it becomes dedicating in this way is necessary for benefiting others? Definitely, it makes sense, I think. This is the one reason that why we should dedicate for enlightenment, not just temporary wishes. Oh, may he liberated from his illness. May he liberated from his family problem. May he liberated from his losing business. May he liberated from losing his farm. Right? Losing his farm? Yeah, farm. For the farmer, we make and dedicate merit in this way, right? May this merit becomes causes and conditions for my friend, my farmer friend, to liberate her farm problem. And then this is actually we doing it. Many people ask too. I'm not having good business here. Can you please do something for me? Do some merit for me and dedicate for it. And then when we dedicate it, yes, we make these aspirations. And we dedicate merit, and then we make aspiration. Oh, may this merit becomes my friend such and such, whoever, to free from his losing business. That's okay, but don't set up your dedication only for that purpose. These are temporary. But you put the main ultimate aim is this enlightenment. So therefore, Shantideva was saying this. Putting aim, dedicating merit for the enlightened helps to benefit others. How? Then that keeps, whether enlightenment is far or not far, doesn't matter. Whether enlightenment is possible or not possible also doesn't matter. It really helps for oneself to keep that willingness to support and benefit others. Yes, it does. So that's how these skills is kind of like helping us to benefit others. This is kind of like indirectly, right? Not directly, indirectly. Directly, dedicating. Indirectly, help us to maintain the willing to benefit others. Okay, then now today's teaching here. These are the 4 different skills or the technique that he shown us, that the bodhisattvas who really wants to benefit others, and he is recommending to practice these things, these 4 ideas, skills that which he shown. And then also that he is also recommending some other skills, method, like this, stanza number 102. Tabar givi shinyi techen tenla kebadam, chanju sembi tushu cho sobichiryam mitamo, paljung wai namtharle lama tembi chuldarla, dida sanje katsal dodelani sheprachas. So these 2 stanzas can go together and showing the one skill, one method to benefit other beings. So how they translated? First, let me read here. Never at the cost of limb, the life or limb, forsake your virtue friend, your teacher, learn it in the doctrine of the Mahayana, supreme in Bodhisattva's discipline. Learn how to attend upon your Guru as described in the Sri Sambhava's life. This and other teaching of the Buddha you should understand by reading in the sutras. Okay, so the first 102, this stanza, what helps you to understand it. It seems like they translated this very literally. Very literally. That how in a Tibetan words, they just try to translate it same as it seems like. And then the order also it makes, for me, the order is also makes a little kind of like a not being able to understand this stanza as well. But I don't know how you are getting it by this reading this stanza. So never at the cost of life or limb, forsake your virtuous friend, your teacher. Learn it in the doctrine of the Mahayana, supreme in the Bodhisattva's discipline. Instead of discipline, I think it's better to put training. Never at the cost of life or limb, should not leave or abandon. That is, I think, better. Never at the cost of life or limb. That is said, is that one, right? Should not leave or abandon. Anyway, so that's okay. But that why never at the cost of life or limb? And then for the sake your virtue friend, your teacher. Right? Now, I don't really get it through this stanza, through this English. Anyway, so let me describe what it means. So, it is actually now in this stanza that what Shantideva was really showing is that the Bodhisattva practitioner, that who wants to benefit others, and they should rely on authentic teacher. That's what it means. This first stanza. And then the second stanza is how to rely. Then you should understand this history and read the Buddha's sutra. How to rely on the teachers, authentic teacher. And then the first stanza is actually this, what Shantideva was saying is that the Takpara Gevishinin is, so this is here, even in this Tibetan words, it is a little bit confusion if you don't understand this properly. Yes. Therefore, I think this translator who also having hard time too. I can understand this because this Tibetan letter itself is a little bit not making very clear unless you see the descriptions, unless you see the explanations. So it is also saying Tapar Gevishinyan means in Tapar. Then now we should understand, we should put this like that the constantly, Tapar is constantly, that the person who is considering him or herself as a Mahayana practitioner, Bodhisattvas, then to practice the benefiting beings. Then in order to do that, what you need is that you need to rely on the teacher, Gevishinyan. Gevishinyan is the teacher. Gevishinyan. You need to rely upon the teacher, that from whom that spontaneously you can gain various quality, the way of thinking, way of talking, way of helping, way of doing aspirations, way of meditating, all this many different qualities that we can gain or we can learn or we can get it when we kind of like rely on that teacher, when we depend on that teacher, right? That's what it's saying. Tapar Gevishinyan means. Teichin Tenla Kebadans. Then now this Teichin Tenla Kebadan Chanjusen Betul Shuk Chokes. This middle two line actually Shantideva was showing the how teacher should be. That the teacher, the person who you will going to consider as your teacher, and then that person how they should be in order to qualify or become a teacher. And that's now it is showing. Shantideva saying, Teichin Tenla Kebada. First, Teichin Tenla Keba means here he's talking based on this Teichin, Mahayana Teichin. Because this scripture, person who is learning at this, that means which showing that person has the interest in Mahayana path. So therefore, accordance with that, he wrote it this, that the person who you are going to rely, consider as your teacher, your teacher should be, that Teichin Tenla Kebadans. He or she is scholar and skillful in the Mahayana scriptures. Mahayana scriptures means both meaning and word, to describe, to introduce others. That's the one thing, that your teacher should be that quality. Your teacher should have that quality. That's the one thing. Teichin Tenla Keba that he's saying this. Teichin Tenla Keba means that that person should be the very scholar and skillful in Mahayana teachings, both in a meaning and words, to understand themselves or to describe to the others. That's what it means. That's one thing what teacher should have the quality. And then the other one is actually more important than the first one. The first one, it is kind of like a doctrine. It is kind of like a professor. It is kind of like learned. Learned, not guaranteed, not necessary, experienced it. Learned, as educations, we can gain through reading books, and we can gain through listening Dharma teachings many times as well. When we listen Dharma teachings from those great teachers again and again and again, we also can become very skillful. We also can become a scholar. And if I listen often this Mahayana teachings from Mahayana teachers, then I may also become like a very skillful and a scholar in Mahayana's teachings. But that is also, yes, one quality it is required in order to become a teacher of Mahayana. And then the person, whoever wants to practice Mahayana path, and they also has to rely on that type of person who can really describe both meaning and the word of the Mahayana scriptures. That's one quality. And is also needed requirement. And then Chanjusen Vidur Shucho, the next one actually it is more important than the first one, that which is saying Chanjusen Vidur Shucho means that that person not just scholar, not just skillful in understanding Mahayana scripture and describing Mahayana teachers to others. And also that you may understand this. Some person, they are very good in themselves to understand, but they are not really good at describing. That type of person is also there. So that means now they are skillful and a scholar to understand themselves, both the word and meaning of Mahayana scripture, but not to describe, not to explanation, explained to others. So here it is more regards to the person who have a capability to explain and then to describe both meaning and word. Because that, for instance, that it is not just enough for me to rely on some teachers that who is unable to describe to me what I should do, what I should understand, how I should take it, that meaning. Him or herself is just able to understand very properly is might not sufficient for me to rely. And that type of person is also there. I'm just telling you this on the side, okay? But however, here, this Tekchen Kanla Kebatang, in short, what Shandadeva say, that person who is very scholar and skillful in the Mahayana's meanings. Tekchen Kanla Kebatang. Mahayana meaning means the Mahayana scripture, Mahayana's teachings. Okay? And then top of that, and then this another qualities which is requirement. Chanjusenbi Tulshu Chos. And then him or herself is also maintaining or staying within that training. This is it saying Chanjusenbi Tulshu Chos. Chanjusenbi, that Bodhisattva. Chanjusenbi is Bodhisattva, right? Tulshu means they are training. They, in this English, they describe like discipline, right? Just discipline, it's a little bit becomes like a very kind of like a short or kind of like a small. When you say training, then discipline is one of his training. Meditation is also his training. And wisdom is also his training. And then all this 4 immeasurables, 6 pranchana paramitas, even 10 pranchana paramitas. These all are his or her training, the Bodhisattva's training. So that is what it is going, that Bodhisattvas, who is also staying in their own training, but not just training. Here Shantideva not saying just training. Tulshuk Chok, supreme, that he or she, the Bodhisattvas, staying within the training of Bodhisattvas in a very supreme, means that very kind of like a call it, not making mistakes. That kind of things is now. This is now, that's why I'm saying this second word is more important than the first word, which requires to become a teacher. Actually, these 2 lines are also describing the quality of teacher, how a person can become teacher for others. And as long as a person has these 2 characteristics, these 2 qualities. The second qualities, including also those like in short, what I can say like this: scholar, disciplined, and then kind. Okay, so the perfect teacher should have these 3 qualities combined. That becomes now perfect teacher. The perfect teacher, it is also very difficult to find as well. Yes, perfect teacher, 100% perfect teacher is not easy to find, because we cannot really judge from outlook that one. That's the one thing complicated. And then why second reason is that it is hard to find. It is also very rare, that type of person in this world, unfortunately now. But however, it is truth that it is rare. So therefore, it is hard to find kind of like 100% perfect teacher. That 100% perfect teacher should have these 3 qualities in short. If we elaborate of these 3 meaning, what's the meaning of disciplined? What's the meaning of kind? What's the meaning of the scholar? Then even further goes that I think that is the described in this Mipam Rinpoche. He described one, how to check your qualified teacher, whether he is perfect teacher or not, he or she is perfect teacher or not, to see that he is saying Shinyan Tulwa Shiva Nyer Shiva, and then Habar Chunje Lungi Chu, then you have to tola make Zevidani Kyongal Pama then. Then now showing like almost 9 different qualities. But these 9 different qualities can summarize into these 3 qualities. And these 3 qualities can summarize here in this Shantideva saying 2 lines. See, that's another very, that is also showing this Shantideva is very skillful too. He knows how to condense the meaning, how to write it within a 2 line to condense all those big meanings. That other 2, Chanju Sembe Tulshu Cho, in this other 2 qualities are showing, which is like a disciplined and kind. The first one, it is showing clear scholar, skillful scholar. Not just skillful, actually showing scholar, saying that literally the word of Tibetan Keba means scholar. Then scholar means person who have a skillful, right? Who have a skills, that we consider scholar. If person doesn't have a skills to teach other, then we don't consider as a scholar, right? Even though maybe inside scholar, he or she can understand him or herself very well all those teachings by reading and just hearing. But when he or she needs to share with the others, then difficult. That type of person is also there. Even I can encounter myself with that kind of teacher as well. As one of my teacher is very great in his own self. But when we listen teaching, it's so hard to understand what he is trying to say. Most of the time, we have to figure it out some other teacher to explain that meaning. But we know. How we know? Because when we discuss just directly, and then he have nothing lacking to respond, answer. He have all the answers. He will going to give very good answers. But when he goes with the scripture, then he lost himself sometimes. That type of things. That's what I'm saying. Maybe this inner scholar, and then both inner and out scholar. Anyhow, so this Shenyan Dua Shiva Shiva, and then this is so important actually. One very important skills to benefit other beings. If I really want to benefit others, it is very important for me to depend or rely on some very great teacher too. If I really rely or depend on one great teacher, then I can also benefit more big, and then that happens too. That is one way. It is very obvious that when we try to study under someone, then first what we're going to check, or who he consulted, or who she consulted, who he or she learned it under, right? And then if we find it out, the person's his own teacher, somebody who is very great teacher, then it gives little kind of like a strength within myself. Oh, maybe it is reliable, because his teacher is something very reliable person, right? And then however, what I am saying is, the point is that the depending or relying on authentic teachers, how it can becomes cause and conditions to benefit others, and in this way too. This is one example. There are many reasons to rely, and yes, the main reasons to that all above, that whatever Shantideva shows until now, all those 4 different methods to tame your mind, to benefit others, to tame your mind, to benefit others, to confess your mistake, to benefit others, to stay with your precepts, to benefit others, to dedicate your merit to the achieved enlightenment for others. See, if I stay with the authentic teacher, all these qualities also I will going to gain. He or she will going to teach me to do all these things too. He or she will going to show the method to how to train my mind, to show how to confess your mistake, and will going to show how to not transgress your precepts, your vow. And then it is also going to show how to dedicate your marriage as well. These all qualities also I can gain through relying on the great teacher too, authentic teacher too. And not just this, many other things as well. And then this is now, that's why it is that's why I'm saying this point is so important here now. This point that which Shantideva were making. Therefore, we are spending more time to understand this properly. And this, what he said, like the Shenyan Tulua, Shiva, Near Shiva, these three things, the three qualities, it is saying Shenyan Tulua. Tulua means tamed. This is now more talking about the out, physical and verbal manner. And then Shiva means now this is mental problem, the tamed mental. Tulua, Shiva. Never Shiva means now kind of like it is really talking about the most inner, that passive, the kind of suppressed or passive, pressed it, this all the afflictive emotions. And this now refers to discipline, right? In 3 points, these 3 qualities, it's pointing out the discipline means this one. It is this talking about. Both physical, verbal, and mental, and then even more further that reduce or get rid of. The best one is to get rid of absolutely. But still, if not, then he or she is able to trust their emotion. That's the one requirement. And that's how it is. If you have that capabilities, and then you can stay in a discipline. When you are able to stay in a discipline, then that's fulfill the one quality to qualify to become teacher. And then Yunden Habar Tsunje Lungichu. Denit Rato Tola Makeden. These 4 qualities. 4 qualities refers the scholar. Shinin Duashiwa Nishwa. Yunden Habar Tsunje. Yunden Habar Tsunje means the the Yunden Habar Tsunje still can include in a discipline, I think. Sometimes it seems like it can include either in a scholar or in a discipline both. But however, the point here, let me describe you, then you can think which it belongs to. And then Habar Tsunje means that the person, him or herself, is putting effort to to practice all those qualities, means all those paths, putting effort and diligence to practice. And then Hapartsunje. And Lungi Chuk means rich by the teachings, which means that listened so many teachings and contemplate many teachings. The Lungi Chuk. These are now refers to scholar, clear. In order to become a scholar, you must listen many teachings. Without listening many teachings, it is difficult to become a scholar. And then any rabdu tola makedens, and not just the richness of having all the teachings, but also you understand, you recognize, realize the meaning of the teaching, both meaning and the word properly. Any rabdu tola. And then makeden means, and not just you understand, recognize and realize yourself, but also you are very skillful in sharing with the others, describing to the others. Makeden. That these qualities now referring to the scholars, right? To make oneself a scholar, these qualities are required. When any of qualities are within oneself, that means the one condition to become qualified to become a teacher, it's fulfilled. And then last one, Tsewi Dani Kyongal Panglaten. That refers to the kindness. Which means Tsewi Dani means that the compassionate one, that have that willingness to benefit others, Tsevidani. And not just that, but also needed Kyongalpang then. Kyongalpang means what do you call it? Abandon the hardship or the Kyongalpang. Abandon the, this is something Tsevidani, compassionate and Kyongalpang. Abandon the hardship and disappointment. See, abandon the hardship and disappointment. You understand? If I literally translate, that becomes that. Kyongalpang. Kyo is disappointed. Ngal is hardship, difficulties, right? Abandon difficulties and disappointed, let's say. Not just compassionate. Some people are compassionate, but out of this compassion, they act. And when they get returned very bad, then they disappoint. Then they tired. Then they tired. Yes. Then they give up. And this is now here refers to kind. What does it mean, kind? Kind means person who have these two capabilities in combined, who are compassionate, but also who have this capability to abandon the difficulties and disappointment. That refers to kindness. And person who possesses that quality, then that's the one conditions that fulfilled to become a qualified teacher. So you see, discipline, and then scholar, and then kind. This three. In short, this three. In elaborate, this 9. In short, this 3. Even this too short, is 2 here. What shall I do? Teaching Kiba, scholar in Mahayana scripture. To describe others, mainly reference to describe others, to able to share with the other. And then within these 2 things, now 2 are combining discipline and kind. That person has to discipline themselves, tamed their manner, tamed their mind, and most importantly, they get rid of their afflictive emotions. That's the best one. If not, still they are able to reduce and control that emotion. At least, these are at least, okay? The best one is completely able to getting rid of these emotions, is the best, the qualified teacher. And tamed their physical and verbal manner. And they tamed their mind from those negative thoughts, willing to do many negative activities, such as willing to kill others, willing to fight with others, willing to disturb others, willing to harm others, and willing to steal others' belongings, willing to rob others' belongings, and willing to do the sexual misconducts, or willing to do the sex and all things. That type of mind is not trained. And lie, willing to not training the willing to divisive talk. And then all those 10 non-virtuous actions. and then so forth. Then person who kind of like tamed their mind means not really having willing to do all those things, nonsense things. That's the meaning of tamed their mind. And then Nyavar Shiva is not just that tamed, but not having even that in their deep mind. So gathering all these 3 different kind of quality or elaborate 9 different kind of qualities is the perfect teacher. 100% perfect teacher. That's how we can understand. This is the condensed in these 2 lines that Shantideva was saying. Kechentyana Keba Chanjusibi Tushu Cho. And then So Vichirya Mitango is the last line. So Vichirya Mitango means that So Vichirya Mitango means that even for my life, I will not going to abandon. Even if it is cost my life, I will not going to leave. I will not going to abandon. Means I will not going to abandon relying on this teacher. I will not going to leave depending on that type of person. Because that type of person is the really kind of like a source. As I earlier said, spontaneously, almost we can say like automatically to gain some qualities within oneself, such as even from the tiny things, such as how to do prostrations properly, that we can learn by relying on that teacher. This is tiny. And then from that to the goal, even like how to understand, generate compassion, loving kindness, bodhicitta, renunciation, and how to gain the quality to understand the emptiness, and meditation, how to do proper meditation. All these qualities we will going to attract, or we will going to achieve or get it in one way, simply relying on that type of person. Therefore, even in this Mahayana Sutras, they're describing how teacher is important. But this is really talking about authentic teacher, okay? That's really, we have to make it clear nowadays. That's really talking about authentic teacher, that person who have all these 100% qualities. Okay, so that is now we just saying, Shanda, they were recommending for you who is considered as a Mahayana practitioner, wants to follow the way of Bodhisattva, then, and even now we reach to that training, that which I myself wants to train myself to the 3rd stage of discipline, which is discipline of benefiting beings. If you want to do that, then what you should do is constantly you should depend or rely on teachers who is very scholar in explanations of Mahayana scripture, both word and meanings, and also who is very staying their self into all those training in a very stable way. And that type of person, you shouldn't never at the cost of life or limb. I think that's what it is meant, right? That is what it is saying, never at the cost of life or limb. Forsake your virtue friend, your teacher. Learn it in the doctrine of the Mahayana. Okay, here. Learn it in the doctrine of Mahayana, which is showing the scholar quality. And then the supreme in Bodhisattva's discipline. And then instead of discipline, if we say training, train it. Supreme in the Bodhisattva's training or trained. Supreme regards the stable, very solid. Here, supreme. Not just very beginner. Okay? He or she reached to the supreme stage of Bodhisattva's practice. And that type of person, you should not never at the cost of life or limb. That's how you should take it that. And then now this stanza showing the qualified master and then also showing that the person who willing to practice this Mahayana path must rely on that kind of qualified teacher. And then now next stanza is showing how one should rely on that type of person. Then it is saying, Pajung wai namtarle lama tembe tsultar lap. Dina sanje kazashin dode nane lawat, dode lane shepchas. Shantideva here he's giving within this stanza is two different reasons. One is you should understand this history of Paljung. In that history, how the discipline, his follower, his disciples rely on him. Read that history, understand that history. That history will going to tell us how you should rely. And also you may understand by reading the sutras which is taught by Shakyamuni Buddhas. Right? That he's saying, learn how to attend or how to rely or how to depend upon your guru as described in Sri Sambhava's life, that is his life history. This is the one reference that you can understand how to rely, how to depend. And other teachings of the Buddha, you should understand by reading in the sutras. First, Shantideva was saying, you must, if anyone wants to benefit others, practice the discipline of benefiting beings, then this is also one important thing. And this is actually one most important thing, actually, as I told you earlier. All the qualities whatsoever described until now, we can gain or achieve or accomplish or train oneself by relying on that type of person, teacher. And then how to rely now, this is showing here, this Paljung, the Sri Sambhava's life history. The Sri Sambhava's life history. Now this is actually, it's this so vast actually this history is. Some of this history actually pointed here in the 71. You may can see in the 71, page number what? 336. In this sutra, in this his life history, that this is like a Paljung, that Sri Sambha is the, and his follower is there's another Bodhisattva, Norsan, that one merchant son, not merchant son, businessman, very rich businessman. His name is Norsan, and he wants to train the way of Bodhisattva's life, Bodhisattva's teaching. And then he consulting this Sri Sambhava, and then with the another maybe, and there's also another lady, Pomo Paljilodre, I think, Pomo Paljilodre, Kyu Paljung and Pomo Paljilodre. I don't know whether they are a couple or not. But however, this Chandrasemba Norsam, this Bodhisattva Norsam, went to them and then consult them and then raised this question, asked these questions. That I heard it, that you too teaching this, how to practice Bodhisattva's way and how to persisting one should practice Bodhisattva's way. So therefore, I came here to you. Can you please tell me, guide me, how to practice the way of Bodhisattva, and how one should persistingly practice it. Persistingly, right? Show me that method. He requested to those Sri Sambhava and another lady practitioner. He consulted both. And then they both gave their own introduction to him, that how they are, how they practiced it, and what they achieved it. And then later, they are recommending, in order to practice the way of Bodhisattva's life, in order to practice the way of Bodhisattva's life in a very persistingly, then you must rely on teacher. And when you rely on teacher, then you should rely like this here. Now we can just see here. The biography of the glorious Sambhava, the Sri Sambhava Vimoksha, is in fact of the chapter of the these are Sanskrit, I think, Gandhavyuha Sutra, in which the following passage is to be found. If you would pay due homage to the spiritual master, let your mind be like the earth. Okay, here he just giving the answer. He is not showing this question. What he asked it, this Bodhisattva Norsam, who is the businessman, who is the rich businessman, he asked it question to them, I heard it that you showing this guideline. I am the one willing to practice this Bodhisattva's way. So can you please tell me, guide me, that how I should practice the way of Bodhisattva's life, way of Bodhisattva, and how I should practice persistingly, right? Now this is very serious talking about. Persistingly means very serious, right? You want to do very effortlessly, not just willing, not just rough willing. Oh, it seems nice, I would like to try. It is not like that. He's saying, this is it, I want. That's persistingly. No matter what, I will get it. iPhone 10, no matter what, I will going to get it. Just like that. Nowadays, to the young generations, maybe that will be the same very good example idea to put it here. Now iPhone 11, isn't it? iPhone 11. This is what I will definitely going to get it. This is not something I just, oh, it is nice, I like it. No. This is it, I will going to get it. Like that, the businessman Norsan has that kind of willing to the way of Bodhisattva. He just don't, okay, it is nice, I want to try, not like that. He's, okay, this is it, I'm going to get it. Please show me how to get it. That is his question, okay? And then, according to his question, and this is the answer. Right now in here, we are just seeing the answer. Okay, so the answer is here now. And then the teacher Shri Sambhawa, the Q Paljung, in this they wrote it here, right? Paljung Vai Namtarales. Shri Sambhawa, that he guided him. If you want to practice the way of Bodhisattva persistingly, then what you should do is you must rely on authentic teacher. And then how to rely on authentic teacher is this way, that if you would pay due homage to the spiritual master, then what you should do is let your mind be like a earth, which means never tiring of the burden of supporting everything. And then your mind be like a diamond, which is indestructible in its intent. And you should make your mind like a, I don't know what is this, rampart.
It's like a support, the building, it stops it building.
Okay, where in suffering can find no breach. Yeah?
Yes, it's true.
And then you should make your mind like a slave, which is never giving at all that must be done. And you should make your mind like a faithful beast of burden, which is never rested. Yeah, they put these examples, but these animals actually they are not something never rested by their own volunteer, right? We make them never rested, isn't it? Rested. Huh? But anyhow, so through this example, just to understand the meaning, okay? Don't just go literally here. Oh, this is not, they are not rested. We're making them never rested. It is just, this example just showing from this point that how they are never going to rest. Like that, you should make your mind. And you should make your mind like a ferry boat, right? Ferry, we have lots of ferry in the United States and Canada, right? Towards those great lakes and then to the seas. always willing to go back and forth. Actually, boat doesn't have that willing, right? But boat has to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's doing one thing. We human, what? Even if we meditate, focusing on Shakyamuni Buddha for 1 hour, then we feel, oh, I cannot back and forth now. Again, you want me to do this? No.
That's what it's pointing out we should be.
Yeah.
Should leave behind.
Yeah.
That's-
Yeah. And this is yes, exactly. This is what he's trying to say. This is what exactly this Shri Sambhava giving instructions to this businessman who willing to practice the way of Bodhisattva. If you really want to practice persistingly, then you should prepare your mind in this way. You should rely on teacher, and when you rely on teacher, you should prepare your mind in this way. Few examples are there, like such as a Miller Ripa is a very great example of this. It's being like a very fairy boat. Margwas letting him just build unnecessary things, and he's keep making it. Outlook, it is unnecessary, yes, but I shouldn't say unnecessary. Yeah. Likewise, also in these times, there are some. I met, now he passed away a few years ago, that one Lama, that he, when I met him, he was 97 years old, but still he can walk. When I met him, when I consult him, when I go visit him to offer something. And that master is actually not well-known master, no. This very quiet master, staying in a remote area. Later he became a little bit well-known. Then he went. And then he went, okay, you understand what I mean, he went. Anyway, when I consult and then talk, he also told me some of his own experience and the way of consulting teacher too. And I heard from his student too. I learned a little bit about him. And I heard some information about him through his student too. That he also told me that he take a 13 years hardship to get teachings from his teacher. It took him 13 years. And he's from Bhutan. He went to Tibet and he consulted this Anzom Gyatse. This teacher Anzom Gyatse is in Anzom Mugar. And then he said, this Miller Ripa's kind of like a history is very well known. Everybody knows. But hardship like which I take it, no one knows. Which I took it, no one knows. And nobody wrote it, his story, right? And he also said, to me, he also said, yeah, that which I took hardship for this teacher, how I consult teacher Anzom Gyatse. And there's not really Understand? Big difference that how Milarepa took it hardship. He said, I also took it hardship. So you see, there is still someone taking hardship in a very quiet way. Anyhow, so in this history, that how here now, this is exactly it's saying. And you should prepare to make your mind, settle down your mind to rely on teacher like a perfect son who drinks in with his eyes the countenance of this spiritual father. I don't understand this. What does it mean?
It's like having an honor and a worshipful manner towards your father who gives you everything.
Okay, yeah. Anyhow, so don't judge this guideline by just reading this instruction, okay? Then people misunderstand it. Oh, even Buddhists talking about these things? No way. This is very blind worship. It could kind of become like that, isn't it?
Well, that's what it's saying, that the father can't do anything wrong.
You see? But Shantideva already described, you should choose the father like what? Which is above stanza already they are already made it very clear. And you should be like that. But the father, you don't choose the father that will going to do so many silly and nonsense things. From your side, you should prepare like that way. This is what it means. Right? Milarepa, from his side, he's like that. But the Marpa is not the strange father. Right? That's different. But the father also, Shantideva already introduced this above this stanza. That before you rely in this way to your teacher, first you need to understand the teacher. After you understand your teacher in this way, then when you depend, rely, and then you should rely in this way. And then likewise also this, O noble child, look upon yourself as a sick man, upon your spiritual master as a physician, his teaching as the healing dove, and your sincere practice as the path of health. Or we can say, and your sincere persistingly implement. And your sincere implement persistently is the path of health, healing, or health. And likewise, in this sutra, this history, they give many different examples. This is the one most example that normally when they describe how to consult teacher, they use it. But also, Shakyamuni Buddha, is it Shakyamuni Buddha? Or maybe not. But somehow I couldn't remember clear now who is it. But this is one way, and then there's also many different ways showing too. I think purpose is to different people. This people who had the experience of disease, this very makes sense. This way of consulting to teacher in this way, using this example, very makes sense. But person who never sick, maybe not really makes sense this one.
The best.
Yeah. And there are also many other 4 different methods too, they describe, accordance to the merchant, businessman. And then they put it in accordance with that meaning. But that meaning also can take is a misunderstand too. Let me tell you first how he gave example accordance to the businessman, merchant. That he said, okay, if that the follower is businessman, then how to consult, rely your teacher, that teacher using this terminology or example, that okay, you should see yourself who wants to become a successful businessman, okay, and you should see the dharma as the things that which you will going to sell. And then to look to those spiritual teacher as a successful merchant. They can guide you how to do business. And then following that successful merchant advice is that you are now earning wealth. Practicing Dharma is now, it's like that, you are earning wealth. Practicing Dharma, the sincerely implementing persistingly in your path, practice is the earning the wealth. See? Now that is how you feel it. And that is their example. This is accordance with the person who have experience of doing business. And then likewise, to person who have experience of the fear of bullying and slighting from others. And in accordance with that, then they have this examples too. You should watch yourself, the person who are under fear. And you should watch to the Dharma, which the idea can relieve yourself from this fear. And we should watch to the your spiritual teacher like a brave, kind of like a willing to liberate someone. Not just willing to liberate someone, but brave. And then following his advice and all this, you should, like a practicing. It's like you are liberating yourself from that fear. And likewise, also they use the many other, like this person who is willing to cross the river or ocean. Then you should watch yourself as a person who willing to cross that river. And you should watch to the Dharma like a boat. And you should watch to the teacher like a boatman. Or what's called boatman?
Ferry boat.
Man who drive. Captain. Watch like a captain. And then listening to him and going with him, you feel like you're crossing the river. See, that's how you should consult your teacher. Giving all this instruction. So to cross, person, I want to cross this river. And then without relying on this captain, there's no way I can cross this river. And when I rely to that captain, I should follow his advice. I should listen his advice. Again, I'm reminding you, I should follow his advice. I should listen to him, whatever he does not mean that anyone. Shandadeva already showed, captain, you choose captain like that, and then listen to him, and then follow his advice. Then he made it very clear, okay? Not just like a blindly worship or blindly following. No. Anyway, so this is the history that how it is has Paljungwai Namtar Lama Tensu Lama Tembe Suda La. How this Bodhisattva Norsam, this who is businessman, how look at his history, how he consulted teacher, how he prepared himself. In this way, if you really want to practice, implement persistingly in this path, then you should also try to be like him. That's the one example. And then also from the different and then also from the other teachings of the Buddhas, you should understand by reading in the sutras. Okay, that we'll talk tomorrow. This is like a stopping movie somewhere where very interesting. Okay, so if you have a question, we can discuss.
Here we they say like you have 9 points from teacher. What are the about
requirement? What are the qualities requirement
quality from the
to become a teacher?
What are the requirements from a student? In here,
Yeah, these are the requirements from student now. Huh?
You say 9 points from student, very clear, but from student, not clear enough.
Oh, student not clear enough? Okay, so from a student that also that Shakyamuni Buddha said something that we will going to describe. Yeah, describe tomorrow. We'll talk about. And then also that this history right now which we talk, and this is also talking that how students should be. They should prepare themselves, make it like an earth, make it like a ferry boat. No, these are, isn't it good enough? You need more?
Okay, we know the earth.
Yeah, earth means described, right? Earth means, what does it mean by prepare yourself like earth? Earth means that which can, how to say, carry everything, right? Means that not feeling tired by all this. Okay, there's a 9-floor house. I don't want to carry. I'd never say that. This is 1 floor. I really want to carry this 1 floor. I'd never say that. And this is millions kg heavy. I don't want to carry that. And this is only 1 kg. I like to carry that. Earth never say that, right? Like that now. Once you find the authentic teacher, and then when you consult to that, and then it is saying you should be like the earth. Don't make it that, oh, I don't want to carry, this is so heavy order. Oh, I can just carry this tiny, not heavy order. Like, okay, go and broom your house. It's okay, not difficult to follow, right? And then if teacher said, for instance, For instance, that you are kind of like working 5 days a week to earn something to survive yourself. Now, immediately or suddenly teachers say, "Dang, you should stop working from today." Then that's very heavy order. And then other hand, "Dang, can you broom this room?" Which is very light. You can broom this room, no problem. I can clean this room, no problem. But don't ask me to, don't ask me to give up my job from today. No, I need some time. Or, no, this is not, no way I can do it. I need to survive. See, that's one, another is heavy. Cleaning this room is light, right? Be like earth, million kg, take it. 1 kg, take it. Means that kind of authentic teacher asks you to clean this room, clean it. Stop your job from today, stop it. Like that. Now, this is an example, okay? This is an example to show clear kind of a heavy and light, difference of heavy and light with the weight, with the kg, but that kg is not with our experience. Our experience is like this, that these two things, one is light and another is heavy order, right? Which is so difficult for you to do it. And therefore it is saying, prepare your mind like the earth, so you don't feel any difficult. That's the challenge, yes, it is challenge. And that is actually this businessman Norsam, Bodhisattva Norsam. As I told you earlier, okay, if I set up my mind, this iPhone 11, I'm going to get it, then I will going to do whatsoever I have to do for that. Even I heard before this iPhone, first time this iPhone came out, and then some people, they even sell their kidney or lung to buy the iPhone. Yes, that happened. You see, once they set their mind, okay, no matter what, I will going to get it, even they sell their kidneys for that small iPhone. And which is also not really permanent. Now, he or she may feeling regret because it is already upgrade, reached to 11 now. This is something we're talking about iPhone 2 or 3 times. See, we have that kind of people in this mundane who is doing things, who is doing like that kind of strong determination and very good follower for the mundane achievement. And which is also very not really high achievement. Because now already upgrade, it is reached to 11, iPhone 11. He didn't achieve anything now. But even for that, he did that. That kind of things also happened with the Asanga too, right? When Asanga do the retreat to see Buddha Maitreya, and he did retreat 12 years. First 3 years, and he came out, come out. And then he saw somebody in a mundane trying to accomplish something very useless, but spending years and years for it. And then he thought, okay, even this very not really making sense result, they are spending that much time. For me, I spend only 3 times, which is very less. Okay, I should spend more time. And then that becomes condition for him to generate strength within himself. And then he went back again. Then after 6 years, he again got out. Right? Like that, back and forth, back and forth. That kind of things is there in this mundane. Yes, there are many. Actually, when we talk about this, we feel very, impossible. Actually, we are doing it for our mundane achievement. We're doing it. We're being very good disciple. We are being very good follower to fulfill our mundane wishes. Even some, they spend life to achieve that. That's very diligent, right? Very restless effort, isn't it? And selling kit and buying iPhone 3, exchanging your kidney and iPhone 3, isn't it now? What is really achievement that he's achieving for his kidney? But that type of person, determined follower, is there. When we talk about these things, we feel, how it is possible? We feel we're very far. But actually, we are doing it. It is not really far. Anyway, so we dedicate and take a rest. Tonight also we have practice, right? Okay. Sunam de tamje zebani, thomne nyeben donam tamje ni, shega nanchi wala chubai, sibin zolendo, zolwa shu, jambal pawe, jidara kimba dam, kundu sambo de yan de jinde, keda kunje jesu nalo jin, gewa de dan tamje rabdomo, Yewan di shewoken, sunam yeshe zozo ne, sunam yeshe le jongwe, tamba kunyi toparasho, sanje kusum nyebe chinlam da, chunyi minjurun dembe chinlam da, yenden meche dembe chinlam di, jidara moa nam, rubarasho. By this beneficial activity, may I obtain omniscience, and having vanquished the harmful enemy, great anger, illusion, may I liberate all being tossed about helplessly by the waves of birth, aging, illness, and death in the ocean of becoming. By conforming to the knowledge of courageous Manjushri, Jambal Yang, and in the same way as Samandapatra, Kundusambo, and following their example, I dedicate perfectly all this virtue. By this virtue, may all beings perfectly achieve the accumulations of merit, sunnah, and wisdom, yeshin. And may they thereafter obtain the two holy bodies which result from these two accumulations. By the blessing of the Buddha, Sangye, who obtained the three bodies, by the blessing of the immutable truth of the Dharmata, Chunyi, by the blessing of the infallible aspiration of the Sangha, Gendin, may this prayer of dedications be accomplished just as it is. Okay, thank you.